So kernel upgrade. Kernel upgrade means updating our kernels. So during the installations, suppose example, 2 years back your system got installed. That time you done the kernel installation, right? Kernel you have done it. So but now there is a requirement. Why? Because those kernels are always up to date in SAP system. Those kernels are always up to date in the system here. So kernel is the base here. Kernel is the base point here. Like I mean to say, kernel is the hard code for SAP systems. Kernel is the hard code for the SAP systems here. So in this case, how to update or how to upgrade our kernel to higher version. So higher version, how to upgrade our kernels here. So kernel means they are the three locations. There the exe folders are available. There are the three locations exe folders are available here. So one is the global exe directory, global executable directory, kernel directory also called the exe directory, executable directory or kernel directory. So global exe directory. So that is called the USR, SAP, SID, so sys and exe. This is called the global exe directory. We have the local exe directories also available. They are the total three locations. We have the exe directories are available, right? Those exe directories are called the kernels or SAP binaries. Kernels are SAP binaries here. Kernels are SAP binaries here. They are the three locations here. So one is the USR, SAP, SID, sys, exe, that is the global. Then the second one is the USR, SAP, SID, D instance number and exe. Then one more local exe directory is the ASS exe, USR, SAP, SID, D, no, ASS/exe. So there the total three locations our executable files are available. Executable files are available here. Executable files are available here. So these kernels, this exe directories will play the majority of the role here. Majority of the role means, so it is the communication between the operating system and your SAP. So suppose your SAP, suppose your SAP system is up and running means because of the SAP system is up and running means because of the SAP. So here the kernels are up, kernels are there at operating system level. Kernels are there at the operating system level. That is the reason you see here. So someone changed this bar. So these kernels. So if you see here OS level, these are the kernel directories here. If you see here sys, exe, so UC, NTADM, these all are the kernels here. So your NQ server is running because of the kernel directory is available here. So NQ server is message server, gateway, ICMan, so gateway RD, so work process. So all work process are running means because of work process running means your SAP is running. Because of SAP and work process running means because of here operating system level. So these are the binaries are available. Binaries or kernel files are available here. That is the reason. So we are able to import the transports. We are able to start the system. We are able to stop the system. Right? All the commands are working because of start SAP, stop SAP. So database, TP transport protocols all are working because of you have the binaries, OS level executable files are available here. So these are the very important hot for the SAP here. When you are starting the SAP, it always look the kernel file and profiles while starting the SAP here, right? So these are the very important here. Always every 3 months once, every 6 months once, we may have to update our kernels to the latest version. So why? Because in the existing kernel, if any bugs, so any bugs or some issues, so that will be fixed in the latest versions. That will be fixed in the latest versions here. So then how to check the current kernel version here? How to check the current kernel version here? How to check the current kernel versions here? So here there are two ways. OS level with SID ADM user, we can use the displace work command. Displace work command, we can use it, or we can log into the SAP. In SAP level, go to the SM51. There is a release notes. Release notes. So there also we can check the kernel version here. So once you log into the SAP, once you log into the SAP here, go to the SM51, SM51. Here in the SM51, you can see the release notes. Please open the release note here. You can see the what is the kernel version. What is the kernel version here? This is the SAP kernel. SAP kernel release 754, right? SAP kernel release 754 here. The patch number is the 200 is the patch number here. So which means this is the main, this is the sub patch level here. Under the release, we have the 200, 100, 200, 300, 400, like that. The patches, they will release it here. So if you update the release from 754 to 755 or 756, 757, that is called the kernel release upgrade. Just you are only updating the patch. Patch means sub patches. So you are updating the patch from 200 to 300. You are not changing this one. This is called the kernel patch upgrade. Kernel release, kernel patch here. Either anything you can update it, but if you update anything also, that is the common procedure we are going to perform it here. Common procedure. Common procedure means so the common steps for kernel upgrade. Any kernel upgrade or release upgrade or anything, we have to follow the common steps here, right? So to perform this kernel upgrade, you need a downtime is required here. Downtime is required here. Downtime means we need to stop the SAP systems here. We need to stop the SAP system here. So why? Because kernel upgrade is not the online activity. So we need to stop the kernel, then operating system level, we need to place the files here. So what activities we have to perform it here? What activities we have to perform it here? How to do the kernel upgrade then here, right? How to perform the kernel upgrade here? To perform the kernel upgrade here, right? To perform the kernel upgrade, so what we have to do? So first of all, there is some steps we have to perform here. This is the procedure steps here, right? So procedure steps here. So this will be, this is some procedure steps are there. We need to follow it here. The step number one, first of all, check the current kernel version. Current kernel version. Check the current kernel version. We know how to check the current kernel version, right? So that is the one thing we need to check it out here. And also the second thing is, once you check the current kernel version, then download the latest version of kernel from service marketplace. We have to download the latest version of kernel from the service marketplace. So which means we need to agree with what is the kernel. Either we need to update the patch or either we need to update the release. These two things we need to get the confirmation from our manager or customer, saying that what is the target version we have to go with, what is the source version, what is the target version. Then once you've done it, download the latest kernel files from the kernel means. So they are the two files actually. We need to download it, two files, SAP exe, then SAP exedb here. These are the two files we have to download from the service marketplace. We have to download it from the service marketplace. These two files we have to download it from the service marketplace here. So then once you download it, so move the kernel files. These are the kernel files. Move the kernel files to application server level. Application server level. Suppose sometimes some people they may download in the local desktops or local laptops in the download folder. So we may have to move to the application server level, and once done it, then extract it using SAP car command. Using the SAP car command, we need to extract it here. So then once you extract it, then stop the SAP application. Stop the SAP as per the timelines. When you have the downtime, that time you need to stop the SAP application here. Then, so take the backup of take the backup of existing kernel directory, existing kernel directory. Why? Because in existing kernel directories. So in case something problem, again we need to roll back. We need to revert back. Why? Because new kernels, how the new kernels will behave, no one sure, right? So that's why we have to take the backup of the existing kernel directory here. Once you take the backup of the existing kernel directory here, so then replace the so new kernel files which you extracted into existing exe directories, existing exe directories here, right? Existing exe. So directories here, we need to replace it in the existing directories here. So then, if it is the Linux system, once you've done it, if it is the Linux, additional command is execute the /sap root.sh script. We have to execute it. Then step number 9, start SAP, then perform the health checks. So these are the steps we need to perform as part of the either kernel upgrade or kernel release upgrade. We need to perform these steps here, right? So what are those steps here? How to perform here? So we know how to check the current kernel version here, right? So then we using this one, either display work or SM59, we can check it out here. Then download the latest kernel from the service marketplace here. So we need to log into the service marketplace. From there, we need to check the, we need to update our kernels here. We need to update.
How to check desktop work that system in.
Did you check this note? We have to log into the SID ADM, then execute the display work command. Okay. So first of all, when I'm telling, just read that one. So
Yeah.
to log into the SID ADM user, which means, so we are in the, suppose we are trying to update ECQ ADM, right? Suppose we are trying to update the ECQ ADM. Okay. We will update the ECQ system. Then log in with the ECQ ADM. Okay, once you log in with the ECQ ADM, so here, so what we have to do here, so go to the command prompt mode. So the commands here, you need to execute the dis plus work command. Okay, dis plus work command. So it will give the information here. What is the your kernel version here? 754, 200 is the 200 is the patch level. 754 and 200 is the patch level. So here we can get it out. So otherwise, so here we have the, so in the SAP level, SM51, there also we can get the, what is the latest patch, we can get it out, right? Two ways we can check the current kernel version. Then download the latest kernel from the service marketplace. Kernel means only these two files. So kernel means only those two files we have to download it from service marketplace here. So we have already kernels are available here. We have already, so we have already the kernels are available here. Someone taken the session. Someone taken the my administration session. Who is this guy? So that's why I won't share this all the passwords to anyone. So here, so 754, and we have the current kernel version like this. We can check it in the SM51 here. Okay, SM51 we can check like this here. So so the command displace work will only work from the with SID ADM user only. With SID ADM user only, the command will work here. So here we have already the kernel files are available here. So but it's already someone already downloaded. See here SAP exe, SAP exedb here. Already the files are available here. So once again, let me show you how to download the kernel files here. How to download the kernel files here. So these are the kernel files SAP exe, SAP exedb already available in our systems here. So once again, I will show you how to download those kernels here. Right. So to download these kernels, we need to log into the service marketplace. Service marketplace here. We have to log into the service marketplace here. Just to go to the software downloads here. So we have to log into the service marketplace. Here you can see here. So here you can see just in the left, there are software patches and packages here, right? Here go to the alphabetical index kernel, K for kernel, right? Just click on the K here, K for kernel here. So ours is the 64-bit unique code. Ours is the 64-bit unique code here. This is a common. Everybody will use the 64-bit only, 64-bit kernel version only. This is the 64-bit kernel version only. So what we have to do, we need to use the 64-bit kernel version only. So here you see we have the old versions are available, 753, 754 also available. So but our kernel is depend on the kernel is depend upon the your SAP basis version. We cannot directly update to the higher versions here. You need to check here. Suppose it depends upon the your basis version, depends upon the your SAP basis version, SAP basis component version. We need to update our component. There is a dependency. So it depends upon the SAP basis, the release version, component version. So we need to update. So our release versions here. So like it's like that, sir. We have currently 754. Shall I go with the 793 latest available here? Direct jump from 754 to 793. No, it's not possible. Why? Even you cannot update to the 777 also here. So why means every kernel there is a dependency on the your. Let me show you here. Every kernel there is a dependency on the. Suppose this is the file SAP exe file. Just to open this file, there is a content. That's why always we need to read the release note first of all before you updating the kernel release. So download the latest kernel, check the current kernel version, and read the read the read the kernel release note. That is the very important here. So why? Because here it will give the clear information. So whether this exe file is support your SAP version or not, it will show you here. So here they will show you the 753, 754, 7777, which means so your basis version is only your basis version is SAP basis version is so 750 only. So our version is not listed here. So we are not good to update to the this version 777. We are not good to update to the this version here. So we are not good. Means our system it won't support here. Our kernel, even though if you update it, nothing will happen. SAP it won't start. SAP, it won't start it here. So that is the main thing here. So if you go with the 754, then we can update to the 754. Currently, we are in the 754 only. In the 754, our version is 200, right? So, but we already in the 201 latest version. We already in the 200 latest version. We have already updated here. So we already updated here. So then what we can do, we will revert back. We will roll back to the previous version, 753. We will go for the 753 kernel. We will download it. Means anytime we can lower the, means we can revert the kernel version from so higher to lower or lower to higher. We can revert it here. So in 754, in 753, we have the 1200 version is there. So those patch we can update it here. Those patches we can update it to the here. So I'm downloading the DB independent file, which means called the SAP exe is the DB independent file. Then next one, database dependent. Our database is the SQL server here. Then download the SQL server file, any file. So any database, anything, our kernel upgrade is common procedure here. So we need to download the SAP exe DB files. We have to download it. We have to download these two files from the service marketplace here, right? So it is getting downloaded. Once it is downloaded, once we have downloaded, we have to extract the files here. So, sir, will this support here? 754 will support? Yes. Why? Because if you see here, 754. So how can we know whether it will support or not here? So they have the SAP exe here. If we go to the content information, which means if you read the release note here, so the release note, the related release note, we will clearly get the information whether it will support or not. It will give the information here. 754 here, 754. So 754 kernel release version, it will support like 740, 750, 751. So ours is the 750. So definitely our system will support here. Definitely our systems will support to the 754 here. So we are good to update the 754 or below version also. But here, so here what we are doing, we are reverting back to the 750. So we are reverting back to the kernel to the 754 to 753 and 1200 patch level we are updating here. So why? Because we are already in the higher level. We don't have any latest patches also available in the system. So we are decreasing, then we can increase it here. So that is what we are going to do now in the system here. That is what we are going to do in the systems here. Okay. So that is the one thing here. So this is the way we need to read the release note clearly. The context information, we need to read it here when you are upgrading the kernel here. Some people, what they will say directly, they will go and download the latest patches and they will apply in the kernel system. It won't come up. SAP system, it won't come up here. SAP system, it won't come up. So then again, we have to do the troubleshooting and everything. Then finally, again, we need to roll back. We need to revert the changes and everything. Why? Because if something your kernel is not supporting, so that time we may have to roll back. That is the main thing here, right? So now we have downloaded the kernel. So then SAP exe, the so 753 version we have downloaded, right? So then what I can do here in SAP software, I can create a one folder here, kernel 753 underscore 1200 patch level. Simply understanding purpose here, right? So we have downloaded. So we have the 753 available, 754 available. Then what next? Move the kernel files to the application server level. Yes. Then extract it using command. So we'll extract it. We'll extract all the files here. So using files, using here. So I'm connecting to the SID ADM. Okay. So we have where is the files are available here, right? SAP software. So let's go to the here, just command prompt mode. You can open it here, right? So here you can open the command prompt mode. Let me increase the size here. What is this? Properties. Okay. So while extracting, first of all, we need to extract the SAP car space -xvf space SAP exe. First, we need to extract the SAP exe file. We have to extract it here. SAP exe file, we have to extract it here. That is what I am doing here. See here, SAP exe file I am extracting. So what these files contains means whatever the files are there in your exe directory, sysexe or instance exe, those files are available here. Those files are with the latest versions are available. With the latest versions of the files are available here. With that, latest versions of files are available here. So those things we are updating here. Those things we are updating here. See here, those files are getting extracted here. Those files are getting extracted here. So first SAP exe, we need to extract it. Then SAP exe DB, we have to extract it here. So once this is done, then SAP exe DB, we have to extract it. So stop SAP commands, start SAP commands. SAP is up and running means because of this kernel only. So first of all, SAP exe we have done it. Then SAP exe DB we have to do that one. That is the order we have to follow. Okay, order we have to follow to extract the files here. Okay, all the files we have extracted here. All the files we have extracted here. So once you've done the files extraction, then stop the SAP. So then your customer given the approval to stop the SAP as per this timeline. Now what we have to do, we need to stop the SAP application now. So suppose we are doing the ECP here. So ECP we are trying to do. So then just stop the ECP here. ECP, it's already stopped status here. Something changed here, some parameters. It was badly impacted. It's not getting started. Okay, let me go the kernel upgrade. Okay, we have ECQ stopped here. ECQ stopped here, right? So then once it is stopped, what we have to do? So we have the new kernel files are available here. So copy all the kernel files here, new kernels which you extracted here, right? So new kernel files we have. So copy all the kernel files here, right? Just to copy. Then we need to replace it on the USR, SAP, SID, sys, exe. Just to replace it on the sys exe here. Why? Because we need to replace it on the sys exe, global exe directory only. One exe directory enough. So you have the two application servers. You have the two application servers, right? So even though we can just do you have the n number of application servers just in the global exe directory. Just we have to replace it on the global exe directory here. So replace it on the global exe directories here. Just replace here. So that old kernel files will go, new kernel files will come into the picture here. See here, new kernel files are coming into the picture here. That is what so we are doing here. Done, right? So new kernel files are replaced. The new kernel files are so came to the here. Everything got done it here. So kernel upgrade is done. That's it. Okay, that's it. So only kernel upgrade, only the critical step is so replace the new kernel files into the existing exe directory. That is called the so sysexe means sysexe is the mounted actually. Sysexe is the mounted on the so MASAP MMT here. That is the global exe directory here. So once you place it on the global exe directory, automatically it will pick up the request from the just let me try to restart the OS as well. Okay, so I done the replacement now, right? Replace the new kernel files into the done. So then copy the, just if it is the Unix, the last command we have to execute SAP root.sh script. So why? Because to set the permissions and groups, to set the permissions and groups after the kernel upgrade, so we need to use this command here for Linux based systems. Here for Linux systems, this is the one of the command is shown. Then start the SAP, then perform the health checks. Very simple steps, kernel upgrade steps. So every interview, commonly they may ask you the questions on the kernel upgrade steps here. How to perform the kernels, how to upgrade the kernels, and all those things they may ask you here, right? So this is the main thing here which you need to know, right? Let me so restart done. So I have done the normally OS restart is not required, but we have not restarted long back, so SAP it won't up. So that's why I'm doing the OS restart. I have done it here. Let me start the services here. Normally it will start automatically. We need to wait for some time, right? So I have started here services. So then open the MMC.
Sir, before replacing the files in global exe directories, we will take the
Backup.
copy of
Backup, we can take it out. Backup. So backup means just only copy of the existing exe directory. That is fine. So just to copy, and just you can make it in the other exe directory or somewhere you can place it here. So why? Because something wrong after the kernel upgrade, SAP is not shutting up. You need to again revert back. You need to roll back you need to replace the again existing exe directory. So in this case, we have to follow the same, we have to follow the procedure here. So take the backup. Something is not working. Whatever the backup you have in old version, you have to replace it on the here again. So that is what we have to do. That is the reason we need to take the backup here.
and sir, when we are extracting the files on the command prompt, the files are getting automatically coming into some folder, or we have to copy the file.
We have to move it. We are moving, right? How it will be moved here. So when you are copying when you are extracted the folders, now you are extracted the files here in the C, here SAP softwares, SF53, then you have extracted, then in the same folder only it's extracted, right? In the same folder only it got extracted. It won't go to the same location. Then after that, you need to copy all the files, Control C, then so wherever we have the exe directories, ESR, SAP, SID, sys, so exe. So we have to go to the sysexe, then we need to replace it on the Control V, paste. So if it is the Linux, copy and move commands, we have to use it here. So here is the Windows, very simple. We can copy and we can right click and we can paste it here. So all the files will be replaced here, which means these files and the new files already exist. Only new version of the files are available here. So when you replace it here, new version will come into the picture here. It will be override on the existing version. So new version will come into the picture here. Those things, that is the purpose. So we are doing this kernel upgrade here.
And
Sir, can we
Linux system, sir, we can what command will give, sir, for directly coming?
Linux, there is no left click, right click, it won't work. Okay, we have to use the commands. To operate the Linux operating system, you need to use the commands. There is some Linux commands are there, we need to use the Linux commands. So that Linux commands we are going to cover in the time of ANA administration time. See here. So sir, we are updating only local global exe directory. Then after that, how it is updating here. So when you are updating the local exe directory here you see SAP CPE program, it will update into the global exe directory. It will update into the global exe directory here. So local to local here. So here the trick is here you are only replacing on the here existing exe directory, that is called the sysexe. That is only sysexe you are replacing. Then what about the other directories? You have the two application servers, two instances ASC. You don't need to do that one. Why? Because here SAP CPE is the utility program will copy the binaries or kernels from global to local. If there is an internal program, it will copy it here. Local exe directories. Local exe directories means in this directory. You are only doing the kernel upgrade on this location. You are only replacing on the kernel on this location here. So automatically you are this one will move to the global local exe directory. So that's why they may ask you only this question sometimes in the interview point of time here. SAP CPE is the utility program. SAP CPE is the utility program which will place the files here. So that is the very important here. SAP CPE utility program here. So that is the one thing you should be aware of here, right? So that is the question they may ask you. Sometimes they may ask you, can you explain the steps, kernel upgrade procedure steps here? Then we have to apply from here to up to 10 steps. We have to explain it here. Why? Because this is the one of the guaranteed question they may ask you. Guaranteed questions they may ask you during the interview point of time here. Guaranteed question they may ask you here. How to update the kernel and all those things they may ask us. Right? So this is the one. Here this is not getting started. Some space issues, I guess. Okay. So we have it started. Now it started, right? So it is started now. So now we need to check what is the version now. Now we need to check what is the version now. If we go here, we go to the here, we can check the current kernel version here. So if one is stopped, other application server will take care of the responsibilities here, right? So then I'm going to the ECQ here. Then you can check in the SM51 what is the kernel version here we have. What is the kernel version we have in the ECQ? Those things we can check it out here. Those things we can check it out here. Someone played with the screen. See here how it is showing here. That's why I won't share this passwords and everything. I will remove all the administration passwords and everything. I will just make it private mode. You can use your own IDs. Yeah, here after the kernel upgrade, so all the kernel files are functioning in the back end. So that's why it's very slow. It's very slow here. So that's why we have to check, first of all, whether kernel is updated or not. So if just we can log into the system and see, so what is the kernel version we have currently in the system. Previously, we have the 754 200 patch level here. So now it's like 753 1200 patch level here. So we have downgraded. Here. Then we can update to the 754 200. We can update it. So downgraded. Then we can downgrade, or we can also upgrade the system also here. Once it is done, so as part of the checks, we have to just perform the health checks here. Sick, is there any issues here? ST22, is there any dumps are occurring in the system? After kernel upgrade, sometimes we may get the dump. So whether those dumps are occurring or not here. In SM21, are there any critical locks in the system or not? So we need to check all the information. We need to clearly check here. Are there any critical errors in the system or not? So after the kernel upgrade, so so anything deadlocks occurred in the system, the transaction deadlock occurred here, database error. So deadlocks occurred in the database level at what time? Today only. So check whether in database side any issues or not. The DBA cockpit transaction codes. So SM12. So DB01. So the many ways we have to check the locks. So then perform the health checks whether the system is okay or not. So like that, we have to perform the health checks after the kernel upgrade here. So if required, so sometimes after the kernel upgrade, you see, so it is very slow. Then we can run the SGen. SGen, we have to run it here. So we can perform the health checks in case if required. We need to run the SGen. Otherwise, for the speed purpose, compiling the programs and everything, we need to run the SGen. So then we won't get this type of slowness here. So SGen, we have to execute it here. SGen, we have to execute it here. So this is the way we have to perform the kernel upgrade in our systems. Here, the main important thing is what files we have to download it, right? So then how to extract it. Then you are upgrading the global exe directory, which file is responsible to move from here to here, how the files will be moved. So you need to tell SAP CPU utility program here. There is a Linux systems. What is the script you need to execute it? Why? To set the permissions and the groups here, right? So these are the things we have to remember. Okay. So sometimes they may ask you all those things. So this is the procedure for the kernel upgrade here. Okay. No locks, no deadlocks. It's temporary only. So maybe we need to run the SGen here. So now what we have to do here, we have done for SM753 to 754 to downgraded. We have downgraded the kernel here, right? What you need to do, you need to upgrade the kernel from 754 200 patch level. I have downgraded. Now you have to upgrade it. That is your responsibility. So what you have to do, your kernel files are available here. Here are the kernel files which are there in the SAP softwares. 753 is the 754 is there. 754 200 patch level. This is 753. So you can downgrade the patches here. Okay, you will downgrade the patches here.
That we have to extract both files now. exe DB.
Yes, both we have to extract it. First SAP exe, then SAP XDB, we have to extract it.
Regarding the root dot slash root SAP root dot sh, what will it update the CDDM permissions or the root permissions for the directories?
SID-ADM permissions.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Why? Because kernels are owned by the SID-ADM, SID-ADM, and SAP sys is the group. So SAP sys. So if you sometimes what happens, we have extracted the kernels with the different user, different user are root, right? So then when you replace the kernel file, sometimes the permissions got messed up. Messed up means something will change it. So to avoid SAP startup issues and everything, so then we need to execute the SAP root.sh. It will correctly set the what is the permission level, what is the group ID. It will set it correctly. It will set it out. Then SAP will start without any issues. Otherwise, SAP it won't start because of the permission issues.
Okay. So in general, as best practice, we should log with the CDDM and work it out, and after that we need to
right. If you are executing with SID-ADM, no issues, no need to run it.
Fine. If it's kind of sudo user, then you will get the permissions.
Right.
Okay, got it. Thanks, Ravi.
Yeah. So you can perform. So there are the files are available. So you can do the kernel upgrade. So just to stop the SAP, just proceed perform the just to stop the ECQ. You have the ECQ, you can use it for practice purpose. Just to stop it, then extract it. After that, stop it, then replace it, start the SAP and see and check the kernel version before and after. Okay. So once that is done, then once the kernel upgrade is done, then what next?